Good morning, YouTube. Jeff from Indiana Preparedness here. Just a quick little thought that I had. I wanted to talk about bug out bags, also known as 72-hour bags, and the premise between or behind a 72-hour bag. The idea being that if, for those of you not familiar with them, for people who are new into preparedness, the idea behind a 72-hour bag is that if you need to leave your home because of an emergency, maybe a tornado on the way or a hurricane or some such, you have a bag packed that has 72 hours worth of food and water and medical supplies and clothing that you can grab and take off, and it's all ready to go. You're not running around the house when an evacuation is called or when you've decided that it's not safe to stay there. You're not running around your house or your place of business trying to gather up everything that you need to get out of there. You've got it right there in one bag. You just grab the bag and you go. So the reason why people who are experienced in preparedness always push newcomers towards creating a 72-hour bag. Why is that? Why I for one, I do that. If somebody comes to me and they are new to being into preparedness, one of the things that I push them towards is creating a 72-hour bag. And a lot of 72-hour bags that you see are these big tricked out bags that have got a tent in them and a sleeping bag and sewing kits and fishing kits, and some people will put hunting implements in there. And to me, that's overboard. And I've got my bag is kind of like that, but I'm reevaluating that after a book that I read. I'm kind of reevaluating that level of detail when it comes to 72-hour bags. So, and the reason why I'm reevaluating that is because in the book that I read, the author pointed out very accurately that that bag is just to get you from point A to point B, generally, and have 72 hours worth of supplies to do that. You're not necessarily going to be stopping and camping, and hunting and fishing. And if your equipment starts to fail, you're not likely going to pull out a sewing kit and start to sew on it. That's a little unrealistic. The 72-hour bag is to get you to safety, and it's giving you 3 days to be able to do that. So, but back to my point as to why we encourage new preppers to people into preparedness to create a 72-hour bag is because it gets them thinking. What do you need for that 72 hours to survive, to travel, and to a degree remain comfortable? I mean, honestly speaking, I could walk out the door right now with the clothes that I have on me and survive 3 days, trying to get to someplace that not anywhere near here that might be out of an area of effect of a disaster. But a 72-hour bag gives you everything that you would need to do that in relative comfort. So it gets people thinking, what do you need? You need food, right? You need water, critically. Within those 3 days, you're going to need to drink, you're going to need to wash, and you're going to need to cook. And so you're going to need water to do all of those things. You might need to, yes, stop off and sleep and rest. So a small sleeping bag or a bivy is going to be something that's going to be necessary. So you need some type of shelter to do that. Whether it's a small little tent, I just bought a couple new ones, a small little tent that can fit in the bag that's very compact, or if it is even if it's a tarp and a strand paracord to tie that tarp if you're that familiar with bushcrafting. But you're going to need those things because you need shelter. You may need protection. So I've seen some people put a small firearm in their 72-hour bag, uh, or even just a canister of mace or bear spray to protect themselves. So once you get a new prepper, somebody who is new into preparedness, thinking about all of those different elements, from communications, small walkie-talkie or a weather radio, to food and clothing. Once you get them thinking about all of the different elements that are comprised in a preparedness plan, you take that line of thought in that new prepper, and you expand it, and you say, okay, now what are you going to do for your house? What are you going to do for your home? And you get them thinking about that. So it's kind of a gateway drug, right? A 72-hour bag is kind of the gateway drug into preparedness and getting people in the correct mindset for do you have the appropriate shelter, right? You have a home. If you're planning on sheltering in place and bugging in, you have a home, so that's great. But is there a place to go inside the home that's a safe room? Do you have shelter if a tornado threatens the actual structure of the house? Or if somebody starts banging on the door and you have a potential home invasion situation? Do you have someplace safe to go there? Do you have enough food that if you can't get out, like for instance at the beginning of a pandemic, where you're being told no, you can't leave unless it's critical, or you don't want to leave because you may expose yourself to a virus, or you may expose yourself to, maybe there was a chemical spill or something like that, so you don't want to leave. So if you don't leave your shelter, do you have enough food and water there to last you, I don't know, 3 days? We'll start with 3 days. That's a good start. What if you can't get any of your prescriptions? What if you can't get any medical supplies because, oh, I don't know, the supply chain has got a hiccup in it, and you can't get, your baby aspirin that you need to take on a daily basis as a blood thinner because you're prone to strokes, right? So if you can't get out and get those things, do you have a 3 day supply or more of that? 3 days is bad. Let's up that to 2 weeks, shall we, as a good start point. We'll say 2 weeks. Do you have 2 weeks worth of food, water, and medical supplies in your home? So if you have to shelter in place, do you have those prepared? So, and on and on and on, of course it goes. So, the importance of a 72-hour bag when it comes to a newbie prepper, or somebody who is just getting into it, and we all know them, right? Somebody who's interested but doesn't know where to start. A 72-hour bag is a good way to get them thinking down those lines. And of course, there's other ways of doing it. You could just jump the gun and skip the 72-hour bag and say, look, do you have 2 weeks worth of food in your house? But things get missed sometimes when that happens with someone who's new to preparedness. They don't think about, oh yeah, I live on a slab and in Tornado Alley, in a modular home. And yeah, I've got 2 weeks worth of food and water and supplies, but gee, if a tornado comes, all of that's going to get carried away. So then what do I do? So uh, a lot of times, just introducing them to a 72-hour bag and the concept and on all of the things that go into that thought process, that opens them up to, okay, now expand that to your house, and where do you go from there? So take that in consideration, I think, when dealing with new preppers. If you are a new prepper yourself, um, there's tons of resources out there for building your first 72-hour bag. You can get tons of advice. If you want to hit me up, believe me, I've got some resources that can help you get started, and I myself will help you get started. So um, no shortage of information there if you want to start to build your own 72-hour bag. All right, so I'll go ahead and go heat up my coffee and enjoy the rest of my morning and the rest of my day. And you all have a good week. Thank you very much and stay safe. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a big fat thumbs up. And if you like what I'm doing here, please be sure to subscribe. And don't forget to hit that good old-fashioned notification bell too. Thank you.